Hello, my name is Peter Phelps of Phelps TV, and in this FreeCAD video we're going to design a small toy chair. Now the reason I'm doing this is to show how you can use the same sketch pretty much to do both a sweep and an extrude and create an object from the same drawing sketch. And so we're going to close that. And I'm starting out in part design. We're going to create a sketch. I'm going to go the YZ plane and say OK. And now the toy I was messing with, it was approximately for a 3-inch sort of toy doll. So we're going to start with an arc. We're going to come up on the Z axis, try to click it so it's on that, and then go out quite a ways right now. Sketch just basically half circle. And then we're going to use the same point, sketch another half circle. Trying to get the line straight. Okay. I'm going to hit escape, so I'm out of the circle tool. I'm going to come in and use the line tool to connect those. And I'm going to go ahead and give those a constraint like that. And see here, I didn't quite connect my dots. If you want, you can click on the space and then drag to select more than one of them, and then click the node feed, and you can see it didn't do it on both of these. And this will connect them together. I guess that I didn't do well on connecting any of those. I thought I clicked on them when they were yellow, but make sure you got them all connected or it won't make anything. It become a problem. Now the question becomes, what should the radius of these be? Now think of the radius in this sense as, okay, you want from here to here is the radius. So if we're trying to put a 3-inch doll in, that's let's see, 25.4 times 3. I know I should be able to do this off the top of my head, but just for you, 25.4 times 3 equals 76.2, but then we want to divide that in half because we're after the radius instead of the, so 38.1. I think I'll just go 38.5 to make it wide enough that the doll should fit into. So the radius 38.5, right? Oops. Sorry about that. I'm unlocked. There we go. Okay. And so of course we gotta change the radius to the other one. Let's do 2. Oops. Huh. Oh, somehow those didn't get pinned onto the Anchored to the there is an anchor, but why is it hanging out? If it was anchored to something here, why is it? What is it anchored to? Okay, I want this one. Anchored to this, and then okay, I see. This one anchored to that. Or hell, should be able to do that. Yep. Okay. Sorry. And this is the inner radius. 42 probably isn't enough. 48. That's a good thick part. And then I'm going to move this up a little. This will make it less deep. It doesn't need to be really deep. Okay. So this will be the basic shape of the seat and the back arch. If you want, I'm not sure that it will let me do that. No, it probably won't. It's easier to do it later. Okay, so I'm closing that. So we now have our sketch here, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at it from the side view. We're going to switch over to draft. And we're probably, it looks like it's selected X and Y. We want to change the select plane and change it to the XZ. So now we've got our grid here. And what we're going to use is we're going to use the Spline tool, multi-point key spline. And we're going to try to get so that we're connecting to the bottom of this. Zoom out a little bit. And come up here. And click, but then we're going to come closer to so that we're curving it this way. And then we're going to come back over here. Zoom out further. And this way. And click there. This is the hard part. So you gotta figure, okay, each one of these you see is the bigger square is 10 millimeters. So I may have been a little too close. I might have to resketch that on. Yeah, I think I may have came too close. I probably should come out a little more. And it should be bigger than the sketch here. So I'm going to redo that. Sorry. I'm going to come this way more. Now it's going down too much. Too far down. That's better. Okay, that's a decent back. Oops. Hit escape. Stop the line. Okay, and now I don't like to have the grid up, so I like to go draft, utilities, toggle grid, and then I'm going to switch back over to part, and I'll switch to the 3D view. Now, what we could do is we could copy the sketch, but we can also use it in two parts. The nice thing about FreeCAD with the sketches is they will create a part, but then you can turn around and use that same sketch to do another part. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a sweep. We're going to use the sketch. We're going to ask it to create a solid, and then we're going to go back in over here and click on the B spline. Go over to tasks, say OK. Okay, so you notice it swept based on that profile, but you still have this where it's sort of squarish shape. Now we can come over here, open up the sweep, click on the sketch. We're going to say extrude the sketch, and we're going to change the Z to 0, change the X to 1. We're going to click create solid, and let's make this 36 millimeters. Say OK. Now it might look a little funny because of the way that they combine here at the corners. That's just sort of part of it. Of course, we're going to kind of hide that when we add on. What we're going to do is we're going to take and add on some ellipsoids, and let's see, I almost never can remember which is which, but I believe the radius 1 is X, so I'm going to go, well, we did 36 on that, so how about 34, or not 34, we went 36 length, but we only went half. So 17, let's go 18. I'll be 36. The radius here, I didn't really measure that, but I'm going to say 8. And then let's make that a 6. Let's say create. Nope, I goofed it. No. So that's why it would be nice if it was radius X, radius Y, radius Z, not 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to move this so I can see it better. We can always move them around. Let's go. See, I chose the wrong length. So, which one is the one we probably use? The length. Nope, that was width. Okay. That's one of the only things I sometimes have with the FreeCAD. I wish that it wasn't, you know, everything else is X, Y, Z. Why isn't this X, Y, Z? If you're going to go 1, 2, and 3, it would be simpler. But okay, so I want that to be 8. This is probably the one I wanted, the 18. And this is probably the one I wanted, just 6. Okay, well, let's see what it looks like on this. Probably want it bigger. Yeah. And it's just depending on your own tastes. What do you think? If I go down a little bit, it'll probably cover up. So you kind of want to cover up that little corner that was there, if you can. And we're going to copy that, and we're going to change it to negative 18. Oops, oh my, not negative 18, negative positive 38, sorry. So it's covering up the other side. Okay. Now, what you may want to do, because this is a toy, you might want to go back over into part design, click, control click these edges here, and maybe the back edges. And say fillet. It's probably going to disappear. Yep. That happens when it's having a problem. So I'm going to go 0.5 and see if that's... And this may take a bit. It's calculating on the fly whether or not it can do it. This is when I wish I had a supercomputer. Come on. I guess I'll pause because it might be taking too long. Hello again, this is Pete. I'm back. I had FreeCAD crash twice on me trying to do the fillets. Sometimes FreeCAD doesn't like to create a fillet based on arcs that are in the part design sketches. So I ended up having to recreate this, so it may look a little bit different than it looked before we just did it. And so we're back to just this, and I'm not going to keep... I tried to just fillet just these edges, and that crashed it again. So I'm going to leave it alone as it is right now. What we're going to do is we're going to create a fusion of all these part fusion. So it's all now one part. And depending on how you want to do this next part, you could either try to cut a little piece off this to try to make it a little flat, or you could try to add something to it. And I'm going to go with the adding. I'm adding a cube. Make sure it's placed so it's about in the middle. I'm going to try to make the height so it's not actually showing through. I'll probably move it down one. Move it back a little. And basically, you're trying to give it a bit of a little more. Trying to give it a flat surface to help it sit on the print bed when it's actually printed. And we'll fusion that. Now, because the way this design is, you're going to need to print it with some supports. So then the next step is to create the bottom. Now, the reason that I don't try to create one chair piece completely is that it's going to be easier for the printer, less material, if you print the base and the chair itself as two parts. Two, it can become a little, it would be a real pain to try to print it with the base on it and have it have supports, because it's going to try to fill in all the space until it hits the chair itself. So that's kind of a waste of material and printing time. And it can become kind of fragile. The post that goes into the chair could break while you're trying to tear off all the supports while you're working on it. So I'm just going to create a cylinder for right now. I'm going to say I want a radius of 6 might be a little too big for this chair. So go down. I'm probably going to make this like, let's say 30 millimeters high. Let's go back down to like 4 radius, and then change the position if it's 30 millimeters high. I want it by 27. Negative 27. Make sure that's not poking out of the chair. I must have. Okay. Then record. About in the middle of what the weight part of it. attach board. And I'm going to take a look, make sure that I'm inside, how far inside of it. What I like to do is use the transparency rather than wireframe. And yeah, just okay. So you want to make sure that you're not actually poking through or poking too high into. See, I'm going to bring it down just a bit. One more. That way I'm even with the block rather than even with the, oh. That would have left me only like a millimeter or less. So this is a little bit okay. And then I'm going to copy that cylinder. And I'm going to make the next cylinder a little bit bigger. So I go 4.5. That does, it gives me a little space between where my cut will be and what the actual part will be. So what we'll do is we'll click on the fusion. We're going to go to control and click the larger cylinder that I just made and cut. I'm going to call this cut. I'll rename it main chair. Oh wait, I know that was that part. And then what we do is zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and hide the chair part. And we're going to work on just the base. Now, the reason that a lot of times that you'll have someone 3D print fail that they scanned an actual 3D object, like if you scan a real office chair and you try to take that and you shrink it down to a miniature size, a lot of people don't understand that that's going to shrink it too much. You're going to end up with parts of it that are just either going to disappear, they're going to be really thin and fragile, and it just doesn't work out really well. Like if you try to take a regular office chair, it has the really small wheels on it. Now, if you think of your wheel has a little rod that comes off it into the base of the chair that's somewhere between a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch in diameter. Now, if you shrink that down, say 50 times, you're going to go underneath probably what the 3D printer for an FDM can do. And that part will either totally disappear or it will be so thin that it's like maybe two of the 0.4 millimeter circles, if it can even do it. And that's going to be a very fragile piece. Again, when I was talking about how you're going to have supports, those fragile pieces snap off really easy. I've actually seen them do this where some people have come into the 3D printing lab at the arcade library and they want to print one of those where they've just shrank a scan of a chair or something, and a lot of times the lab people have to tell them, hey, that's not going to work. It's just going to snap into little bitty pieces when you try to clean up the support. So the simplest way for this, for our little chair here, I'm going to copy the cylinder. I'm going to shrink it down to like 8. I'm going to make it a little wider. 5. What I could do is I could make this one smaller if I wanted to make it higher and smaller. But I'm just gonna leave it where it's at right now. I'm gonna click on this and I'm gonna go to fillet, say OK. That gives it sort of a little base part, and then I'm going to create another cube, and I gotta move it down so it's even with the what here. And I'm going to change the length to 4. That was the wrong one. Should have changed the width. Sorry. 4. And move that. Probably want the length to be like, let's go 30. Height, let's go 5. And then we're gonna go X, and then negative 15. Maybe I should go 40. I want it centered, relatively centered. We can look at the bottom. Let's make it relatively centered. Okay. Because this doesn't seem, I think I'm off from the center completely. This probably won't do exactly what I want. Let's see. Let's go ahead and control clicking. Should give me all those. And I'm going to go 9.5. Okay. Look for a good. Still trying to send it, sorry. We're going to take that and we're going to copy it. So yes, B, to paste it twice. And what I'll do is I'm going to change the angle. And let's see, 30. Actually, no, it should be 45. And then the other one going to go about negative 30. So 45, negative 45. Just this one. Okay, so you want to kind of, if you want, you can make one more that goes 90. Oops, I copied the wrong thing. Sorry. Okay, and then the shift and control, click, create a fusion on that. I'm going to call that chair base. So now this will fit into the bottom of that when it's 3D printed. Let's take and save this. I'm saving as because I kind of already saved. Call it swept chair. Export. Click on the object file. Export. Chair. Click on this one. File export. Chair base. Then I close FreeCAD and open up NetFab Basic. I always do this step. This way, I'm pretty sure it will 3D print. And like I said, you're gonna need supports when you 3D print the main part. So this one shows a problem. So we want to repair it. I'll just do the automatic, bolt, apply, move all part. Now it's good to go. You can look at it at different angles. Go part export, STL. I typically go ahead and leave repaired in there. Save. Part. Add. The base. Open. And the base doesn't seem to have any problems, so we're good to go with that one. And close. And so then that's what you would load into your slicer and 3D print. You print them with 2 different pieces. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.